Meanwhile, in war-torn Syria, a man has taken to rescuing cats. He runs the Ernesto cat sanctuary in Aleppo. Mohammed Alaa, al-Jaleel has always had a penchant for felines, but with the war and many people fleeing the city, he was left with hundreds of pets to look after. It's earned him a new nickname. He's called the Cat Man of Aleppo.
In the rebel-held town of Kafr Naha in Syria's northern province of Aleppo, a cat shelter. The Ernesto cat sanctuary was founded by Mohammed Alaa, al-Jaleel, who named it after his favorite feline friend. His clinic tends to cats with every kind of injury, from bullet and shrapnel wounds to extreme trauma. Here a feline patient is getting an ultrasound examination. The cats come from all around Kafr Naha. Some were abandoned by families trying to escape the fighting, while others were left at the shelter.
When we arrived here, we set up the sanctuary and started taking in cats that were with families. We only found 18. We brought them here to the sanctuary, and what's more, we're bringing in cats from different regions and bringing them here to the sanctuary.
Alaa al-Jaleel has been mad about cats since childhood. As a young adult in the city, he would drop by the butcher's on his way home from work to ask for scraps to feed street cats in the neighborhood. When war broke out in 2011, he put down his electrician's tools to become an ambulance driver and helped ferry the injured. As the war raged on, Jaleel received donations from friends and social media. This is how he set up the cat sanctuary, which has expanded to treat other animals.
There are a lot of injured animals because of random shelling on residential civilian areas. Lots of domestic animals come here: dogs, cats, cows, sheep. We treat them all.
Syria's war has killed more than 350,000 people and displaced more than half its pre-war human population. But the war has also taken a toll on animals and pets. It's a point often overlooked or forgotten, given the scale of Syria's human tragedy. Bureau Report, WION.
In neighboring Israel, tension has been intensifying. More than 100 Palestinians have been killed in clashes in the last 2 months alone. Along the border, firefighters are battling a wave of blaze thanks to the Palestinian protesters' new weapon of choice, flaming kites. Hundreds of kites and helium balloons have been flown into Israel, fitted with an alcoholic mixture and containers of burning fuel, setting fire to large pieces of farmland in the Israeli territory.
In over 2 months, the Israel-Gaza border has witnessed the killing of at least 125 Palestinians. Facing bullets and tear gas drones from the Israeli forces, the Palestinians still continue with that protest. But these protesters have now decided to fight fire with fire. Their new weapon? Fire-starting kites. Kites dangling coal embers or burning rags make their way across the Gaza border, signifying a new form of protest. They are targeting Israeli farmland and forests.
It began spontaneously by teenagers revolting and has nothing to do with organizations. They are the ones who made this decision, and they also treat it as entertainment. As long as there is occupation in the Gaza Strip and in our occupied land, these kites will be sent almost daily until the occupation goes down or fulfills our demands.
The Israeli government says that no one has been hurt by these fires, but some 2,250 acres of fields and nature reserves have been burned by flames stoked by the Mediterranean winds, causing damage worth $2.5 million.
The videos prove the losses caused by the kites and how they scare off the occupation forces. It costs not more than 10 shekels. Meanwhile, it causes them losses of thousands to millions of shekels.
Israel says it's a sign of frustration.
Kites and the marches, the civilian so-called marches towards defense, are signs of frustration, because all the operational military ways were almost blocked by Israel. The sea is closed, the land is closed. It's very difficult to hit Israel by rockets and missiles because of Iron Dome.
Israel too is coming up with ways to tackle these kites, and the answer is drones. Civilian drone enthusiasts have been inducted into the army and are flying their remote-controlled aircraft into the kites. The army has also fitted the drones with fishing lines or blades to slash kite strings mid-air. The forces may end up shooting the kite flyers too, an Israeli general has warned. Forest officials for Israel's Jewish National Fund say that the kites have caused massive damage to Israeli farmland and reservoirs.
So this kite will be sold for 10 shekel. In practice, I believe for not more than 3 to 4 shekel. It takes perhaps 10 minutes to make. But the damage they cause, that is the real problem. Not how much it cost and how much time it takes to prepare. The damage is massive, and unfortunately this is what we have been experiencing in the past couple of months.
Israel has deployed troops in large numbers along the border fence, including snipers on the front line. The army says it plans to continue its policy of shooting at anyone trying to reach the fence itself. Bureau Report, WION.
Nearly 900,000 villages across China have been abandoned or destroyed since the year 2000 due to urbanization. Rapid development has sent nature into full retreat, but one village is seeing things changing. Nature has crept back to reclaim lost ground. In Shenzhen Island, on the eastern coast of China near Shanghai, a once thriving fishing village is now covered in green, and it's attracting tourists by the busload. Take a look.
Hutuwan was once a fishing community clung to the steep hills of Shangshan. The village was made up of sturdy brick homes when it was built in the 1950s. For decades, the village prospered from its small but steady fishing activity. But with rapid technological developments in the 20th century, the island's port soon became too small for increasingly larger fishing vessels. The ships were diverted to a nearby port. Slowly but surely, the village became empty.
The fishing business was good. It was just the transport here inconvenient. Once people had more money, they all moved out one after another up into the town. That's how it was. Giving birth, children going to school. When old people got sick, there was only that small path to climb. It took too much effort. It's a really long way up.
The idyllic images of a peaceful, green, undisturbed nature has attracted visitors. And tourism is now the only thing disturbing the bush as it continues its conquest over Hutuwan's empty walls. The site is remote, about 140 kilometers from Shanghai. It's therefore difficult to access. That did not thwart tourism, but it did threaten the singular beauty of the village. Hence, since 2017, local authorities are charging a little less than $10 for a visit. They also confine the tourist to a singular circular walking loop through the village, frozen in time.
Things look really good here now, and it became no-people village. So as from June last year, we started to charge for entry to pay for the safety infrastructure for the visitors.
Hutuwan was a buzzing little town of about 3,000 residents until the mid-1990s. The villagers have now moved to a neighbouring town on the island. Whether that's a boon for the former villagers is for them to decide. But the beauty and romance of Hutuwan, as it is today, is a blessed sight for sore eyes. Bureau Report, WION.